How much can rational thinking help you succeed creatively? For example, if I want this video to hit 1 million views, can I get there by making rational decisions about every single step in the process? According to the concept of bounded rationality, it's a no. Bounded rationality says there are limitations to how far our logic can take us. It's a decision theory concept that suggests that humans don't always make the most rational choices. Imagine that. Like me having my dogs in here right now. I'm already off to a bad start. Anyways, this is Herb Simon. He's the person who coined this concept. And he says you cannot make 100% rational choice. On the other hand, one of my favorite political economists, John Stuart Mill, thought maybe someone could. He thought that a perfectly rational human would make certain economic decisions that would benefit him. And this became known as Homo Economicus. Come to think of it, John Stuart Mill might actually be rather interested in one Mr. Beast, who is the most subscribed individual on this platform and has seemingly gamed the whole thing. I mean, when you think of a viral video, you think of Mr. Beast. He's worth, I don't know, $500 million or something like that. And you can find videos everywhere about how he cracked the code. But does this mean he was perfectly rational? Bro. Our boy is no Homo economicus. He's just really good at doing this thing called satisficing. This is another term from our friend Herb, who, by the way, is the most herbiest looking Herb I think I've ever seen. This is the idea that we make sufficiently satisfactory decisions because our rationality is limited. And we can't possibly compute every single factor involved in doing a thing. We make choices that we think are good enough because our rationality is bounded and we cannot make perfectly logical choices. But anyways, let's try, because absurdity? I don't know. So wait, what's my goal again? 1 million views. Okay, great. Well, that's a good goal. I mean, it's a difficult one. At this point, I have 663 subscribers, and my average video gets a couple hundred views over like a year. But let's just roll with it. So my goal is 1 million views, but I do have other goals at the same time. Like, I want to have fun doing this. I'm not getting paid, so I might as well be having fun. I want to inspire people to think, and I want to make stuff, and I want to learn stuff and teach people what I'm learning. I think those are my goals, but there could be some other ones in there I'm not thinking of. Like maybe I have something to prove, maybe some daddy issues. I mean, that sounds right, but maybe I don't even know what my goals are. I guess we already have a problem here. And the other problem is I can see how some of those goals might compete with each other. I'm not saying thought-provoking content can't go viral. I mean, please make it go viral. But I'm just saying, knowing what I know about the human psyche and how difficult it is to think and rationalize, people may be less inclined to share this than, say, a video of Mr. Beast counting to 100,000.
100,000! What am I doing with my life?
You know what this reminds me of? Something called the n-body problem. It's a concept in physics that tries to predict the motion of bodies that have gravitational pull. Usually we're thinking about planets. As they pass by each other, the gravity of each body pulls on it and changes its trajectory a little bit. This makes it pretty difficult to see where the bodies are going to end up. If I had just one goal, in this example, one body, it would be a lot easier to calculate where this body is going to go over time without these other factors influencing it. But the second you start increasing the number of bodies, the number of goals in our case, it becomes extremely difficult, if not impossible, to predict where they'll be at any given time, which means it's going to be very difficult to predict which of my goals will succeed, if any, and how to get there. But there is something really interesting in the n-body problem. It becomes very sensitive to the initial conditions, the setup. So let's talk about the setup, otherwise known as formalizing the problem. Actually, you could do this with me. Shout out to Campbell and the Alphabet Superset gang for helping me set up the initial conditions to make these videos. There are a lot of choices involved in making a 26 video series. So we tried to lay some of them out, but I'm going to try and lay even more of them out right now. And our friend Beast Economicus kind of did that. And what he did was basically optimize one aspect of his video production over time. Now, I don't think he cared as much about being perfectly rational. Oh, shit. That's one of my goals too now, isn't it? Ugh. All right, anyways, let's get started. So the first thing I did, and maybe the first thing you would want to do to start rationalizing your decision-making best as possible, would be to list all the possible decisions you could make. As a lot of decisions. But I bucketed them into 4 categories: medium, content, style, and environment. So there are a lot of decisions, and I have a time constraint. I'm supposed to do this in 1 week, and I had family things happening, so I really had less than 2 days to do this video. So I had to think about what I should focus on. I can't really control what's going on in the environment. Like the dogs are running in and out, my husband's cleaning stuff up in the garage. I'm just in here trying to make this video. But there are certain things I can focus on, like maybe the medium, content, style. Let me just pick something. Software. Software is easy because I feel like I've already chosen the software. I use Google Docs to write my script, Canva to make these fun little video flash through title thingies, and Filmora to edit. But was I rational when I made those decisions? It feels like I took some kind of shortcut. That's because I did. I took several mental shortcuts, also known as heuristics. I don't even remember when I started using Google Docs, to be honest, but I know I started using Canva in like 2017 because my husband told me it was awesome, and I was making a lot of memes in 2017. I was going through a lot, but basically I tried it. It was the first software I used besides PowerPoint for making animations and stuff, and I liked it. Husband said it was good, tried it, I liked it. Confirmation bias, haven't changed since. Filmora, I just started using maybe 2 years ago when I started making video podcasts. And I was looking on YouTube, of course, for the best video software. And I found about 11 videos talking about Filmora. And I only tried like one other software, but I tried Filmora first because I saw it so many places. This is called the availability heuristic. This is why the advertising industry is set to hit 1.5 trillion by the year 2030, because the more times you're exposed to a thing, the more likely you are to retrieve it in your mind when you need it. So of course, our buddy Herb came up with this idea of heuristics or mental shortcuts in the 50s, and he thought we absolutely needed these things because we can't possibly make rational decisions about everything. But later, Nobel Prize winning economist Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky started studying heuristics and human behavior, and they seem to think that these heuristics are error-prone, obstacles to perfect rationality. So was my decision to use these softwares rational or not? Maybe I just need more time to figure it out. I mean, it's only been 70 years since we first came up with the idea of heuristics, and we still don't know whether they're rational or not. What if I just delay my video a little while until I figure that out? I mean, I could probably figure it out. All I would need is to know every single software that's out there and then learn every single functionality that it possibly has. And I'll be able to choose a good one, the most rational one, until, of course, a new software comes out or an update comes up, or I decide to use a new feature in one of my videos. I mean, the only way to make really, really rational choices is to have all of the information in front of you. And making a video that's going to reach 1 million views has a lot of variables involved. So the only way you can really optimize your situation is to make your world smaller. So maybe I could optimize the best software, but at what cost? It's going to take me a long time to do that. And then how much utility am I actually going to gain from spending all that time optimizing my software choices? Plus, I don't even know if I could identify every single software, and I don't know if I could learn how to perfectly use them all. The point is, there are constraints on my rationality. I have limited information, limited time, limited ability. I'm getting a little verklempt just thinking about having to do all of this. I don't even know if I can adapt that quickly. So, confirmation bias, availability heuristic, thank you very much. All right, how many minutes are we into this video? And I still haven't made a singular rational choice. Great. Well, let's see what else. Maybe I can control something that depends solely on me, my style. Last night, I was trying to figure out how many hours I had to make this video, and I realized I would need time to blow dry my hair, maybe, put some clothes on. Of course, I thought my overthinker shirt would be the perfect, most rational choice. But while I was blow drying my hair, I was thinking, how much does this play into people watching the video? Are they going to watch closer because my hair's frizzy? Should I curl it? My eyeliner got a little messed up. Should I fix it? Did I even choose the right choice wearing? Are they going to turn it off because they don't like my eyeliner? I have no way of rationalizing my style. I just do what I do. And how much do the moments spent getting ready actually count towards the time I put towards my video? Because I have to get dressed anyways. I feel like an accountant. This sucks. All right, let me get into my flow. I like the content. I like learning. That's what I like doing. And maybe I can make a rational choice about the topic I chose, which is bounded rationality. I'm sure I made some rational choices about that. Actually, again, the initial conditions help me to set up more rational, reasoned, well thought out choices. Basically, what I did was I wrote a bunch of terms and grouped them into each letter of the alphabet for my Alphabet Superset. Then I tried to color code concepts that would go together. I've got bounded rationality. I introduced chaos theory. I talked about Herb Simon. So I think this was a pretty rational way of teaching you about complexity and relating it to making a thing. But then how many concepts per video will work? I guess I'm empirically testing that, but what about for now? Honestly, this is just super frustrating. I mean, I'm empirically testing this, but I don't have a lot of information to go on, so I really can't make the most rational choice. And Mr. Beast is out here counting to 100,000, smashing his goals, and I can't even get 25 people to smash the like button. So I'm writing this script last night, and I decide to feed it into ChatGPT and have it organize it into chapters for me. And it comes up with something I've never even heard of, which is the paradox of rationality. I didn't put this anywhere in my script, but somehow ChatGPT decided that I was already talking about it. The paradox of rationality is the idea that sometimes being irrational is the most rational thing you can do. And at that point, I was exhausted, and I really just wanted to go watch a movie. To be exact, I wanted to watch A Beautiful Mind. I can't really rationalize what I'm about to tell you, but last week I woke up and really wanted to watch A Beautiful Mind. I had a crazy dream. I was like 15 when this movie came out, and I don't remember anything about it except there was a crazy mathematician in it. But after reading the Wikipedia page, I saw that this movie was about the game theoretician and mathematician John Nash. So I'm like, yeah, I really want to watch that. That's very relevant to what I'm doing. So last night, while reading about the paradox of rationality, I find that this paradox seems to pop up when things are in Nash equilibrium. Apparently, there are some very specific instances when making suboptimal choices in a game can lead to the best outcomes for everybody. So I said, fuck it, I'm going to watch this movie. Now, this wasn't an entirely irrational choice. I was exhausted. My brain could probably not function anymore, and I was watching a movie about the topic. But now that I understand the paradox of irrationality and the idea that maybe we don't have to be 100% rational, I want to introduce one more concept, the idea of Bayesian reasoning. This is the notion that we can update the probability of our hypotheses as we get more information. So my hypothesis that I might be able to rationalize my way to 1 million views, it seems borderline impossible to make a perfectly rational video. I could spend my entire life trying to rationalize every choice in this video, and I don't know that it would actually work. And actually, not only do I think my rationality is bounded, but I don't care if it'll take me to 1 million views. So what's a curious and creative person to do? Well, I'm not suggesting that we should just ditch rationality. But what I am suggesting is that we take a page out of old Homo Economicus's book and just gradually improve our stuff over time. Let it ride, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully after doing 26 videos, I will have gained the intuition of an expert and maybe a little systematic way of making video content. I do think this exercise was useful though, because not only did it show me that there are choices that I can reason fairly well, but it showed me that there are things that are completely out of my control, and that helped influence my goals. My goal is not necessarily 1 million views, although that would be nice. It's mostly to have fun so that I can continue doing these videos because I love learning, I love writing, I love making things, and I love having discussions with other people about what they think. You know, a little abductive reasoning back and forth here. Check out my last video in this series on abductive reasoning for a little more on that, and I'll see you next week for the letter C.
I've always believed in numbers, equations, and logics that lead to reason. But after a lifetime of such pursuits, I ask, what truly is logic? Who decides reason? It is only in the mysterious equations of love that any logical reasons can be found.